The 10 crucial characters in the life of Moses. Discover the secrets of the Bible with 10 astonishing stories of characters who defied expectations and changed the course of history. From acts of defiance to divine messages, these tales will take you on a journey through faith, power, and destiny. Don't miss this fascinating tour through antiquity. Number 10. Balaam is an enigmatic figure in the biblical text, mainly mentioned in the book of Numbers, chapters 22 to 24. Although he was a pagan prophet, he possessed the gift of communicating with God, which is atypical according to biblical standards that usually reserve this ability for faithful followers of Yahweh. Balaam is hired by Balak, the king of Moab, to curse the Israelites, who were seen as a threat after their exodus from Egypt. However, in a surprising turn of events, every time Balaam attempts to curse Israel, he finds himself unable to do so and instead bestows blessings upon them. This story illustrates not only the impossibility of cursing those whom God has decided to bless, but also the power and divine sovereignty, even over those who do not belong to the community of Israel. The case of Balaam is interesting because it highlights the theme of obedience to divine will versus earthly temptations. Despite the generous rewards offered by Balak, Balaam is ultimately compelled to follow divine instruction. This account also presents one of the most curious episodes in the Bible. The angel of God appears on the road to stop Balaam, who does not see it, but his donkey does. When the donkey veers off the path to avoid the angel, Balaam strikes it until finally, the animal speaks, rebuking the prophet and revealing the angelic presence. This incident not only underscores divine sovereignty and control but also demonstrates how God can use any means, including animals, to communicate his message and guide human events toward his purposes. Number 9. Korah, a cousin of Moses and Aaron, is a central figure in one of the most dramatic episodes in the book of Numbers, chapters 16 to 17 in the Bible. This account details how Korah led a rebellion along with Dathan, Abiram, and 250 leaders of the Israelite community, challenging the authority and leadership of Moses and Aaron. Korah and his followers questioned the distribution of sacred roles and the established hierarchy, arguing that the entire congregation was holy and deserving of direct access to religious functions, questioning why only Moses and Aaron should be the ultimate leaders. This challenge is not only a turning point in the governance of the Israelites but also a significant test for Moses and his leadership. The response to this insurrection was both dramatic and instructive. The earth opened and swallowed Korah, Dathan, and Abiram, along with their families and all their possessions, while fire consumed the 250 men offering incense, marking a clear divine punishment and an affirmation of the authority of Moses and Aaron as mandated by God. This event not only serves to reaffirm the divinely ordained leadership of Moses but also acts as a severe warning against usurping and questioning the established order. Therefore, Korah symbolizes internal tensions and power struggles that can arise even within the most united societies, and the account of his rebellion is an eternal lesson about the consequences of challenging legitimate authority in a context of leadership designated by the divine. Number 8. The daughter of Pharaoh. Although not mentioned by name in the scriptures, plays a vital role in the story of Moses and, by extension, in the destiny of the Israelite people. This Egyptian princess found Moses as a baby, hidden among the reeds of the Nile River. In an act of compassion and defiance of her own father's decree to kill all Hebrew baby boys, she decides to save him and adopt him as her own son. This gesture not only changes the course of Moses' life but also sets the stage for his future mission as the liberator of the Israelites. Raised in Pharaoh's palace, Moses receives a privileged education, learning all about the administration and cultural practices of Egypt, which would be invaluable in his future challenges and leadership. The act of the daughter of Pharaoh is significant not only for its immediate impact but also for its symbolic resonance in the biblical narrative. By adopting Moses, the Egyptian princess acts as a bridge between two worlds, the oppressive Egyptian Empire and the oppressed people of Israel. Her decision underscores a recurring theme in the Bible. God uses unexpected characters to carry out his divine plan. In this case, he uses an Egyptian woman, part of the same monarchy that oppresses the Hebrews, to save the future liberator of Israel. This story not only emphasizes divine providence and omnipresence but also promotes a message of hope and redemption, demonstrating that compassion and courage can arise from the most unlikely places. Number 7. Miriam. The older sister of Moses, is a prominent figure in the biblical narrative, particularly in the book of Exodus. Although mentioned less than Moses and Aaron, her impact on the history of Israel is significant. From her early acts of bravery, when she observes the little basket containing her baby brother floating in the Nile River and shrewdly approaches Pharaoh's daughter to suggest a Hebrew nurse, who happens to be their own mother, Miriam plays a crucial role in preserving Moses' life. This act not only ensures the survival of the future liberator of Israel but also maintains the family connection intact, which is fundamental for Moses' future leadership and Hebrew identity. Later, Miriam solidifies herself as a spiritual leader and prophetess among the Israelites, a fact highlighted in the triumphant song she sings after the crossing of the Red Sea, known as Miriam's Song. This episode reveals her role as a central figure in celebrating the liberation of the Israelites from Egypt and in affirming faith in God. However, her story also includes moments of challenge, such as when she questions Moses' authority along with Aaron and is punished with leprosy for a brief period, a narrative that underscores the tension within the leadership dynamics and the consequences of challenging divine will. Through these experiences, Miriam not only reflects the complexity of female roles in biblical texts but also serves as a mirror of the community itself, facing challenges in its faith and leadership. Number 6. Joshua, whose name means Yahweh is salvation, plays a crucial role in the biblical narrative as the designated successor of Moses and as the military and spiritual leader of the Israelites during the conquest of the Promised Land. Before becoming a leader, Joshua stands out as one of the 12 spies sent to explore Canaan and is one of the only two, along with Caleb, to return with a positive and confident report in God's promise, despite the giants and fortified cities inhabiting the land. This attitude of faith and devotion to following God's orders without hesitation establishes him as a pillar of loyalty and courage, qualities that make him ideal to lead his people after Moses. Joshua's importance in the Bible extends beyond being a mere successor to Moses. He symbolizes the transition from legend to reality, from the desert pilgrimage to the foundation of a nation-state. Under his leadership, the Israelites experienced numerous miracles and victories, such as the famous fall of the walls of Jericho, where faith in divine instructions results in a miraculous victory. Joshua not only carries out the physical conquest of Canaan but also imparts lessons of faith, obedience, and justice, ensuring his place as a role model within the biblical narrative. His story highlights the continuity of the divine plan and the fulfillment of promises made to the patriarchs, thus reinforcing the importance of fidelity and courage in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges. Number 5. Zipora. The wife of Moses is a fascinating figure within the biblical narrative, although she is often overlooked in comparison to other more prominent characters. Hailing from Midian, Zipora was the daughter of Jethro, a Midianite priest, and became Moses' life companion after his escape from Egypt. Her most significant and dramatic role is recounted in the book of Exodus, where she performs a decisive act that not only demonstrates her acute perception of divine will but also her courage and determination. This event occurs during Moses' return journey to Egypt, when the Lord confronts him and seeks to kill him. Recognizing the gravity of the moment and understanding that the divine anger was due to her son's lack of circumcision, Zipporah takes the initiative to perform the rite herself, throwing the foreskin at Moses' feet and saying, "Surely you are a husband of blood to me." This act appeases God's anger, saving Moses' life and allowing him to continue with his divine mission. The episode highlights Zipora's importance not only as a family support but also as a crucial protector in Moses' destiny. Her direct and decisive action underscores the relevance of obedience to divine commands, a recurring theme in the biblical text. Furthermore, Zipora's intervention emphasizes the active role of women in the biblical narrative, often acting in moments of great crisis. Through Zipora, we see how female characters play essential and decisive roles, directly influencing the course of sacred events. Zipora's story teaches us about courage and faith, and how, in moments of imminent danger, intuition and quick action can lead to the preservation of divine purposes and life itself. Number 4. Jethro, also known as Rule, holds a special place in the biblical narrative as Moses' father-in-law and a priest of Midian. This figure is introduced in the book of Exodus, where it is narrated how Moses, fleeing from Egypt after killing an Egyptian, arrives in the land of Midian. There, Moses helps Jethro's daughters to obtain water for their flock, leading to his encounter with the priest. Jethro welcomes Moses into his home and offers him hospitality, eventually giving him his daughter Zipora in marriage. This period in Moses' life is crucial, marking his transition from an Egyptian prince to the leader and liberator of the Israelite people. In this context, Jethro not only acts as a protector and advisor but also as a link between Moses and the nomadic life in the desert, preparing him for his future as the guide of the Israelites. Jethro's impact on Moses' life extends beyond the family and personal sphere. In a significant episode after the Exodus from Egypt, Jethro visits Moses and observes how he judges and resolves conflicts among the Israelites from morning till night. Recognizing the strain this places on Moses and the people, Jethro advises him to delegate these responsibilities to capable and God-fearing men, suggesting the creation of a more efficient and sustainable judicial system. This advice not only relieves Moses but also establishes a governance model that impacts the social and political organization of the Israelites. Jethro's figure stands out for his wisdom and leadership vision, elements that were fundamental in consolidating Moses' leadership and in the initial structuring of Israelite society on their way to the Promised Land. Number 3. Aaron, the elder brother of Moses, is a significant figure in the biblical narrative, especially in the book of Exodus. As a member of the tribe of Levi, Aaron was appointed by God to be the first high priest of Israel, a role that established him as a spiritual leader and mediator between the people and the divine. In addition to his priestly functions, Aaron played a crucial role as a companion and spokesperson for Moses. Due to Moses' reluctance to speak in public, God chose Aaron to speak on his behalf, making him a mouthpiece for his brother's words. This was particularly important during negotiations with the Pharaoh for the release of the Israelites from Egypt, where Aaron performed miracles before the Pharaoh, such as transforming his staff into a snake, to demonstrate the power of God. Aaron's role is crucial not only for his contribution to Moses' success but also for the lessons his life offers about leadership and responsibility. Despite his elevated position, Aaron was also deeply human, evidenced in episodes such as the creation of the golden calf. While Moses was on Mount Sinai, the impatient and fearful Israelites pressured Aaron to create an idol, resulting in the sinful golden calf. This event highlighted both Aaron's influence over the people and the failures in his leadership. However, despite his mistakes, Aaron was forgiven by God and continued to serve as high priest, symbolizing the mercy and redemption that are central in many biblical messages. This balance between authority and humility in Aaron's leadership offers a profound perspective on his character and his lasting impact on Jewish history and spirituality. Number 2. Pharaoh Ramses II. One of the most celebrated pharaohs of ancient Egypt is often identified with the pharaoh of the biblical Exodus, although historians and archaeologists continue to debate the historical accuracy of this identification. During his reign, which spanned over 60 years, Ramses II conducted numerous military campaigns, expanded the Egyptian empire into Syria, and solidified his fame with monumental constructions such as the temples of Abu Simbel. His period of rule, characterized by stability and prosperity, makes him a plausible candidate for the context of oppression and confrontation described in the Exodus narrative. In the book of Exodus, the Pharaoh plays a crucial role as the main antagonist in the narrative of the liberation of the Israelites. His stubbornness and the series of decisions he makes in response to Moses' demands to release the Israelites are fundamental to the development of the events that culminate in the famous 10 plagues of Egypt. These plagues, representing divine punishments on Egypt for the oppression of the Israelites, are a central axis in the biblical narrative and highlight the figure of the Pharaoh as a defiant leader against divine will. The figure of Ramses II, with his known history of authoritarian leadership and his stature as a ruler, dramatically fits into this role, making him a key character in biblical tradition and in the exploration of the interaction between faith and power in ancient history. Number 1. God. Being the most influential actor in Moses' life, plays a central role not only as his divine guide but also as the supreme legislator of the people of Israel. Throughout the biblical narrative, especially in the books of Exodus, Leviticus, and Numbers, God establishes a very particular relationship with Moses, whom he chooses to liberate the Israelites from slavery in Egypt. This unique bond is manifested through numerous direct conversations and divine commands, where God not only directs Moses but also reveals to him the laws and precepts that are to govern the life of the chosen people. This continuous exchange underscores Moses' mission as a mediator between God and men, highlighting the theophanic dimension of his leadership. The reason for God's position as the most interesting character in Moses' life lies in the extraordinary nature of his communication and the miraculous manifestations of his power, confirming the sanctity of Moses' mission. From the episode of the burning bush, where Moses is called by God for this great task, to prodigious events such as the parting of the Red Sea and the delivery of the 10 Commandments on Mount Sinai, each act reinforces Moses' role as a leader anointed by divinity. Furthermore, the relationship between Moses and God is deeply emblematic, showing how faith and obedience to a divine call can lead to acts of liberation and law that transcend generations, shaping not only religious identity but also the cohesion and moral law of an entire people.